Hey guys, it's Imperial Silver here today. So for today's video, we're gonna find out how to tell what's real silver versus like fake silver and a little bit of percentages. So right off the get-go, silver is a precious metal, but there is a lot of fakes out there, and you gotta watch out for those. And you have to know if you're actually getting real silver, maybe the percentage, even if you aren't familiar with the coin. And that's what this video is gonna show. So obviously, Walking Liberties are 90. And as I'm doing this, just listen to the sound for a sec. Hear that really high pitch? That's going to be the first way you're going to be able to tell if a coin is like a silver. Just that kind of high pitch. Versus like, so this is a fake. This is supposed to be a silver coin. I got it into like a mix lot. I'm going to drop this other Russian on it. These two. You hear the difference? So this has a kind of a lower like sound, a little bit more like metal on metal. This kind of has like a ting to them. Silver has kind of a tinging sound. Other ways to tell is just by looking. So this is made out of brass, this fake. It's actually pretty warm. Let's get a little bit better one. You can just tell by the coloration. This is kind of like a brownish tinge, which is really uncommon, I would say. You can get brownish tinges. I have a brown coin right here, actually. So that's pretty tough to tell. That's like one of the big ways, though. So you have to be careful of that. For toning, there's a couple types of toning that silver tends to take. You can have like some more like kind of like greeny toning. So I have a pretty green coin right here too. Like all these are like lower percentages. They kind of sometimes will get like kind of a greenish tint to them. I find, war nickels here. I don't know if it's really catching the color all that great. Let's see if I can adjust that so you guys can see that a bit better. I don't know if that's helping. This one's pretty green, so that's like another way they can go. That's like a low silver route. You also have like the British coins, famously were 50% for a long time there. And these coins I find are very hard to tell if they're silver or not. They just seem to really have like a interesting composition of other percentages that make them not really strike you as silver. So, but again, they still sound a bit different. I don't really want to. I'll do these guys. Those are 75%. You can still hear that. It's not as defined as this. I think it's definitely a bit of a mix. But that's one way. And then another really quick way to tell is if you get a magnet. It's gonna boil this up. It's pretty strong. You should be able to. So this one, you would think, okay, this may not be magnetic. And if you go over to these though. Okay, so this is definitely magnetic, so this is definitely not silver, because if I take any of my silver coins here, any of my lineup over here with this, none of them are picking up. It's just this guy. So this guy's not. And that'll be something you can do for like more modern coins, like quarters in circulation. That'll be an easy way to tell. It's just like magnetic. That's like a good way to tell. I find it's harder to tell like a high condition coin versus like a low condition, because these two look a lot more similar versus like two toned ones. Like this definitely looks like silver because it has that toning. So that's something you'd be careful of. This isn't silver on the left. That's like a big thing. Dark toning is a pretty big thing with silver. So if it has that, it's a pretty good sign. Yeah. Other ways you can tell is you can take it to a coin store if they have. There's a device that can read it, like X-ray basically, and tell you the percentage. Most people aren't going to be able to have that in their collection. They're pretty expensive, so I wouldn't really bet on those. Other ways, just go through reputable people. Don't go like going on eBay. That's a good way to tell, to be honest. Obviously, if it's got PG, um, and NGC or any of those markings, that's also another good way to tell that it's real. And telling the percentage, I would go based on color. Usually, you're gonna see more of this dark toning and not as much of like these kind of like greens. I would say from like lower percentage, like even this is only 75. This is 15% lower. You're gonna get more of a green tone. You get down to 50, it really starts to green. If you're below 50, they're gonna be pretty hard to catch. That's only for a lot of older ones, for the most part. The War Nickel is below, but it's not that below, anyways. Um, but even that, like these are pretty hard to tell sometimes. They have like a weird composition though, so they actually are kind of easy in a way too, because they come out like really dark, usually. You get stuff like this that's pretty hard to tell. Like these guys are look like regular dimes for the most part. They sound a bit different, but so that's how you would tell with a magnet. Like, you know, you get this and you just kind of, you know, oh, they're not magnetic. But regular dimes are most definitely. I have one right here for you. So I would say get a magnet if you want to go and check silver. Sometimes it's like it helps. It might catch the odd fake here and there. It's not going to catch too much for fakes, but it'll catch. If you don't know if a coin is silver or not, that's like a good way to start. It's probably the easiest way. Almost everybody has a magnet in their house somewhere. A lot of tools will have magnets on them, so think about that. And then yeah, avoiding fakes. What I would say is probably like, you know, don't. If it's too good to be true, it often is sometimes. Like if you see $100 coin and someone's selling it for like $10, it's probably not real. Also check, I've done this once, funny enough, not with this one, but check to see if it says like replica or fake on it or copy. I've bought one by like that by accident, which was kind of funny. And if you ever find one of these, what I would usually say is somehow destroy it or make sure that it's known that this is a fake. So I'm probably gonna like etch in with like a knife or something on this and just damage it, because I don't want somebody else to find this and think it's like real or not, because it really just is not real. So that's one thing that we can all do to kind of like lower them. You'll see a lot of Morgans, I find, and there's like this one other, I think it's a Chinese like Fat Man coins are really famously done for it. But they'll be like this, but they have this like really odd toning. They'll be like kind of like this, but they don't really look like either of these. It's kind of like got really extreme fake toning on the edges, and the details are going to be lighter. Yeah, Morgans are one I've seen a lot of fakes of on like for sale personally. So keep an eye out for those. They do kick around. Sometimes they do make them out of real silver still, but that's only if it's like a really key date. But sometimes they'll do that, so really keep your eye out for that. They can get pretty hard to catch sometimes. And yeah, I think that's basically all I would say. You can get pretty nice like low percentage toning also. Like this is like you know, not a high percentage toned, and it really doesn't have any of that like greening. So just because it doesn't, don't think like your low percentage doesn't need to have like that green or like an odd toning. It just tends to after a while. It tends to get like that more weird one. Like I think this is also pretty low. This Austrian one. I think this is also fairly low percentage, and it looks pretty normal. It just depends on the state it's in. Higher mid states are going to be a little bit better than lower mid states for that. Yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, tell me if you guys have any other ways that you can tell something's real silver. You know, I know there's a couple of contraptions out there. I know there's like a sound one that you like. You kind of pinch the coin, so it'd be like this. You kind of pinch it, and then you like thwink it, and it kind of makes sounds. I've seen those kicking around. That's kind of the main ways I've seen. You can also measure it to check if it's a fake, but That's not really gonna tell you if it's silver too much. Like if it's the right weight, that's a good start. But it can also be faked. Like it's not that hard to do the right level of size. Also the diameter, millimeters and stuff. So that's a good way to tell. Like you can measure it with a little millimeters, because they'll almost, if you like look on Numista, you'll be able to find any coins width ratio, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that's all for today, guys. Yeah, like I said, tell me how you figure out what's real silver. I've got pretty good with it. I can pretty much just tell by like a look or a sound. You just kind of develop that skill over time. If you've watched the video to the end, leave a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Go check out my other videos if you watched. Maybe you'll like them too. And until next time, guys, keep collecting.